Josephine. So soon.
Hey, Victoria, I know, right?
Oh, welcome. Right, everyone's coming in. Right, Josephine, before I let everyone
Right.
in, there's music. Oh, my
Yeah.
husband just turned it. I wanted to know if you could hear the music through my
Okay.
headphone,
No,
but
I couldn't hear it.
oh, you couldn't
I
hear
think
it.
I think they block it out. Yeah, I couldn't hear
They
it
do, but
anyway.
you know what it is? My headphones at the moment are broken. I can only hear through one ear.
Oh, me too.
You
Like
too.
this is
Yeah,
falling off, and I'm
yeah.
like, oh my
I
gosh.
need to just get a new pair of headphones.
Yeah, I'm gonna get it. Happened last week, so I'm gonna get one.
Right, just letting everyone in now. Hey, everyone that can hear me. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Thursday. Welcome to the Funding Masterclasses. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We will kick off shortly. I can see everyone is filtering in. So while everybody's filtering, if you could just introduce yourselves into the chat. I know if you was here last week, you think boring, you've done it before. But it just does. It just brings the barriers down. We're online and we really want to make it that it's an interactive live session. So just simply introduce yourselves into the in the chat. Let me know how you're feeling. You know, what's your internal weather like today? Drop me an emoji. Yeah, just want to know how you are. We won't do the whole introducing ourselves every week, but yeah, it's nice to know who's on the call with us. So please do introduce yourself into the chat. If you have got a business, tell us about that business and tell us why you're on these masterclasses. But at the very least, please do introduce yourselves. So people are all filtering in now. Hey, Paulette, evening to you as well. I'm a bit bunged up today, so sorry for the stuffiness. Right, people are still filtering in, so we will kick off in the next few minutes, but please do introduce yourselves into the chat. Let us know who you are, where you're dialing in from. Yay, Miriam's kicked it off. Thanks, Miriam. Also, Miriam, if you've got a web link or anything like that, please do put it in the chat. You never know, someone might be interested in your service. So please do use the chat to introduce yourselves, tell us a little about you, your business, what brings you here. You never know, there could be people on this call that might be interested in what you do. So as people are filtering in, like I said, please do hello, new welcomers. I just let in. We're going to kick off in the next few minutes, but please do introduce yourselves into the chat. Just your name, where you're watching, dialing in from, whatever you want to call it, and what attracts you to this workshop. What is it about funding for you that you're looking for? And while you're doing that and introducing yourself into the chat and people are drifting in, I'm just going to get my decks up. Right, bear with me. Oh gosh. I've got three screens at the moment, ladies, and I'm confusing myself. Where do we want to go? We want to go to right, so we want to right, perfect. I am all ready. Right, here we go. Oh, more people coming in. Right, I'm all ready. I think my family needs to know there's somebody at the door. And if my door could be closed to my office, I'd really appreciate that. Hopefully they can hear me. Right, hey, Miriam. Yep, recording from last week's session. I believe the link is inside the community. Princess, if you could just put in the chat where they would find, or put the link to the recording or where they can find it. But ladies, please do make sure that you're going into our community. If you haven't logged in before, you can go onto our website, www.womenindigitalbusiness. Either log in. If you can't find your login, just do reset password. If you haven't got an account, just create an account. You'll automatically go into our community. Within there is a brilliant 3-day boot camp I used to run these sessions live to corporates, and I've adapted it for you. It's completely free, and I'm not just saying it, it's full, packed full of value. So you've got the 3-day digital boot camp in there. You've got links to the recordings that will go out from this session will go in there. Our podcast is in there. We got books that we give away in there. There's things that go in there. And once you're in, you should get notifications. So please do make sure that you check it out. Right, let's go through that chat. Hey, Miriam. Obviously Princess, who I work with. Hey. Chioma. Hi everyone. My name is Chioma. I'm a certified and award-winning parent expert. Would love to know more about funding. Oh, Chioma, I'm really excited to meet you. I do a lot of work in America, and it's actually a field, ladies, that is growing tremendously, even without funding. When it comes to coaching and consulting, parent coaching, and helping parents and being certified and coaching in that marketplace is a really good marketplace to be in. Let's just let a few more people in. So great to have you here. Miriam's from the UK. We got Nicole from Romford. Okay, so that's my neck of the woods. I'm in Hornchurch. Hey, Nicole. Is running a sewing business in Hornchurch. Oh my gosh, I live in Hornchurch, teaching children and adults. Welcome, Nicole. We've got Tolu, property management, service accommodation, and accounting. Welcome. Chahoma is in Sidcup. I used to be from South London before I immigrated to East. Hey Marcia, long time no see. How are you? Marcia publishes a magazine called Keep Faith and is curious to hear more information that we're going to be sharing. Marcia, please do put a link to the magazine as well. Yep, see, someone's even asked you, do you have a website or social media links? Really nice to have you here, Marcia. I've not seen or heard from you for a while. Hope you're well, my lovely. We got Tasha. Good evening, everyone. I am Tasha from Berkshire, UK. I run an e-commerce clothing business. Absolutely love it, Tasha. Welcome. Josephine, good evening, everyone. I'm Josephine, a business strategist who helps ambitious female creative entrepreneurs get their time back and increase revenue without overwhelm burnout. And I'm launching a Christian stationery brand as well. Love that. And you can connect with me on LinkedIn and Instagram. Well done for putting the link, ladies. Let's connect, let's grow. This is all about a community, women in digital business. If you've got links to your business, your community, your social media tags, let's support one another and drop them into the chat. Recording from last week is in our community. If you're not in the community, Princess has put a link that says join our community here. Please do make sure that you join. Hey, Paulette. Paulette was with us last week as well. I want to get into mentoring for young girls and women aged 13 to 25 in schools and interested on learning about how to get funding for this. Based in Chigwell, Paulette is uptown in East London and currently mentoring for an organisation in Waltham Forest. Absolutely brilliant. You're all going to get a lot of value, especially you, Paulette, when Dell comes on and does the consultation, which is the 31st of October. And what we don't put out in our marketing, ladies, is actually Dell support quite a lot of funding pots that they contribute to. So one of the things that that consultation is going to do is they're going to very much explain how to apply for the fund for the grants that are available that they actually fund. So this is a really, really good opportunity actually to be able to get yourself prepared because what these masterclasses are doing are really getting you pitch ready. Whether you're going for grant funding, any other type of funding, venture capitalist, a unicorn, maybe you'll decide, someone actually pointed out on the call next week that, funding is just a minefield to them. From this, you might even decide that, maybe funding's not for me, but what you'll get out of it is understanding how to pitch your business and get out of your own head. When we build our own business models ourselves, we get in our heads and we keep looking at the business from our point of view and not the customers or the investors or the stakeholders. So these masterclasses are an excellent way to kind of get you out of your head and look at the business bird eye view. But you're going to get a lot of value on that session. It's a lunch and learn that Dell's doing, by the way. So it's midday on the 31st of October. Yes, it will be recorded, but make sure you try and share your calendars because this is a chance for you to speak to a consultant that is in charge of pots of money that they fund. They know exactly what they're looking for, things they want to see. And by doing this series with me, you're kind of getting ready to be able to pitch your business. You're just gonna get more value. We've all Nicole's put her Instagram in. Marcia said I'm good. Hope you're good too. Bit bunged up. But I'm good, Marcia. God's good. Paulette clearly knows Marcia. Oh, look at that. We've got a little community in here already. Um, Tasha, right, cool. Right, sorry guys, I'm just checking. I haven't missed anybody out. Perfect. That is everybody that's put it into the tab. Right, for those of you haven't, I'm going to actually jump into it. It's only an hour. It's going to be quite fast paced moving. Last week, we actually didn't even get to the very end because market research is quite important. So if you wasn't here last week, please make sure you get the recording. If you haven't introduced yourself into the chat, please do introduce yourself to the other women, put your handles, your business, and just let us know what it is that you're looking for. Be vulnerable, just bear all hair because I want to be able to give as much help as we possibly can at Women in Digital Business. And anybody that's a part of our community also has that same ethos as well. So sharing is caring, as I always say. So, right, let's get into it. Let's lead off from where we were last week. I'm just going to share screen. Right, you should now all be able to see my screen. Let me get to where we left off. So if you didn't attend last week, please go and check the recording out. There we go. We were at mom testing. So mom testing is something that is super familiar. If you're an investor, if you're a business strategist, the mom test is something that you're really going to be looking for to really test your business and make sure that it's got validity. So it's a strategy for getting real insights out of potential users. When big organizations either are launching a new product or they're launching a new business, they don't just launch and go to market. Okay, they do a methodology called design thinking, where they will build a prototype, whether it's a service or it's actually a physical product, and they will literally go to market without launching just to see what all the bottlenecks are, what are the problems, and they tweak it. Whereas small business owners tend to just go out with what we've got and what we believe in, and then figure it out as we go along. That figuring it out as we go along, sorry, is what burns through money. So that's what we really want to avoid. So even being a part of this masterclass series is really going to give you an insight into how you're pitching your business and really how is your business and your brand coming across to the end user, and are they even actually your end user, and just looking at it from a scalable point of view and growth. So the problem is with potential users, when you are the people that you're asking may be prone to lying to you, like colleagues, friends and family, your mom in particular, you don't really get a true understanding of the research. And like I discussed with you last week, research tends to be quite institutionalized. What do I mean by that? Research is a part of a business plan. If anybody has gone into business planning lessons or classes, or it's been a part of their educational journey, you're very much taught to, have a USP, do your SWOT analysis, do your research, quantitative and qualitative, do surveys. And because you're following this institutional framework, it becomes very mechanic. Let me follow it. I just want to get it done. It has that effect on you. So now you're carrying out research more of a, yep, this is a tick box, like you're writing an essay in an educational institution, and you just got to write the essay and then you get graded for it and it's right and it's wrong. It doesn't work like that in the world of business. Number one, there is no right and wrong. The clear and simple fact of research is for you to be able to look through the lens of your target audience, for you to be able to put your feet in their shoes, even, and just see what it is to walk in their shoes. It's not just about the demographics, it's about the psychometrics. So when we're talking about, sorry, let me just let someone. When we're talking about things like, quantitative and qualitative research, and I spoke to a few people, which people did you speak to? Are these people definitely your target audience? Or did you just speak to people that might be interested in you? Makes sense? You've really got to be able to take a deep dive into who your audience is. I can't explain how important that is. You can't just do this mechanical research. So the mum text, the trick is, so this is where we left off last week. Number one, you want to start with empathy. Even if you go onto YouTube, even if you go onto our community, empathy mapping is a big thing. I teach a lot around this. This empathy mapping is being able to have empathy for your target audience and really thinking about what are my customers' problems, what are their experiences. So the best place with a mom test is to start with empathy. Like, think about your customer. What's their pains? What is it they want the solution? What problems do they have? What solution do they want in terms of the marketplace that you're in, the product or service that you sell? You want to be able to ask them about their past actions and experience. You want to focus on behavior. Okay, behavior is really, really important. Okay, you don't, want to ask them for to validation your idea or speak for praise. So no validation. What I mean by that is, as entrepreneurs, we've got this habit of explaining something to someone and then actually telling them what they want, what we want to hear. We're stressing like, this is what we want to do, this is what we want to do, this is how we're doing it. We're pushing down people's throats that this is it, this is it. Do you like it? Do you like it? And we want to come away from that. We want to ask them. We don't want to ask for validation. Sorry. We don't want to seek praise or what do they think. We just kind of want to figure out, really, what do you think about the product or service? Does this solve a problem for you? Okay. Number 4, discover the truth. Bezos always says, if you want to know what people are saying about you, leave the room. Okay, so we want to discovering the truth, even if it means hearing criticism. I would say one of the hardest things, I would say, in my entrepreneurial journey in my later life, since I hit my 40s, is that I didn't take feedback that well in my early 30s, if I was to be quite honest with you. When I look back now as a person that's grown, I would say I definitely get on the defensive, and sometimes we validate feedback from people who actually we shouldn't. Like, it's easy to say because a university lecturer validated what you're talking about, it means more than maybe someone that doesn't have those credentials. Whereas really, which are the people that are in business? Which are the people that can help you? Make sense? So hearing criticism is actually really important. I embrace feedback. I love feedback. Feedback is how I grow. Feedback is how I get better, and feedback is how we can turn our business and make profit. So you want to focus on the truth, even if it's hearing some harsh criticisms. It's always it always tends to be the people closer to you. Pay close attention to what they say and ask follow-up questions to delve deeper. So if you've got someone that is really your target audience in front of you and they're giving you feedback, you really want to pay close attention and you want to delve deeper into the conversation with them to find out more. Because if you can go on a direct line to your target audience, anybody on this call that has got customers, you should be asking them about the business, about their problems. What do they want to see more of, less of? How can we help? What does success in ever you do look like for them? Okay, you don't want to be going to your mum or family members. So you need to think to yourself, is the product or service a good idea? Would you buy the product? Would you buy the product? Would you sign up for the service? This is what you really want to know from people. Okay. Um, oh, sorry, just admitted something. Sorry, this is what you don't want to know. Sorry, I got distracted with all my screens. By now you should know if the product's a good idea. Remember, I said to you we do a 3-day digital boot camp available in our community. It's really a workshop put together so you can really figure out who your audience is and what is the value proposition. You've got to, especially when it comes to pitching and filling out funding applications, grants, VCs, unicorns, doesn't matter which road you go down, you've got to start getting an understanding of what are the features of my products and services and what are the benefits. They're two different things. If I had a bottle of water, the feature would be it's a plastic bottle of spring water, available in 500 mils. The benefits could be if I drink this all day, every day, I'm going to have fabulous skin. I won't get no spots. I'll live for longer. I'll be hydrated. I'll lose weight. I could keep going on. Just understand what the difference between benefit and features are. So you really want to figure out is the product good? If obviously you would know this before you started a business around it, but what does this matter to the customer? Would you buy the product? Well, what is the problem that the customer's got? If there's a solution, probably they're going to buy it. How often do you have the problem? Quite often, one of the things that investors and grant applications are looking for is to see if your business is scalable. So understanding the life cycle of your customer and the business is really important, because how often do they need it has got big impact on depending your businesses. If you sell a product that someone needs every month, and one of the things that we're going to look at in the coming weeks is business models. Well, subscription model will be a great thing. If you've got a high ticket product or service, and it generally takes about 6 months to sell, does that make sense? You've got to think about it's not just would people buy your product, but how often do they need it? What does the business model look like? How would we be able to scale your business? And would you sign up for the service? Again, it's like you're forcing people to give you the answer of what you want. No, the question could be, okay, so this is our business, this is what we do. How could I help you? How could the business help you more? Okay, market research is about getting in the head of your consumer. It's not just about going to libraries to get business reports and reading how big is the market share, what's its growth, where's it changing. These things are valuable and useful, but they're more valuable and useful to you once you're trading and your business is validated and making profit. So I really want you to think about market sizing. Market sizing really refers to the total market of a product or service. So it involves estimating potential revenue a business can generate for selling rings to all potential customers who could benefit from it. So market sizing, every business, you've got your target audience. Within that target audience, you've got different segments. Okay. What an investor wants to know, what anybody that's assessing your grant application or even a loan application, a business loan application, by the way, they want to understand the potential of your market. Okay, they want to understand how scalable is your business. So when you're thinking about even putting your business together and getting grants and getting funding, you want to think about what is the access to market. you know how easy is it or how not easy is it. It's about setting realistic targets. When Uber first launched, they didn't launch globally. Uber actually launched in New York, went through all their teething problems, and then they launched into other countries. They were realistic and they went global in a small amount of time because they were so intentional, and they gave themselves a specific time frame and had realistic targets and was very strategic about what regions they would go into. By having understanding the access to market, by understanding the market size, it means, and being more realistic about your targets, you're going to attract investors. And it also enables you to have strategic planning for your business, which means that you can now see beyond where you are and really understand, how do I scale and grow. The idea of getting funding or what funders want to see, or decision makers in grants or VCs, they really want to be able to see that, number one, you can work and you can achieve things. They want to know you can see the entry into market. And they also want to know that what strategic planning have you got to make sure you're hitting all parts of this market. If you know the market size, how are we going to tackle doing each segment of the market? Because it's unrealistic that you're going to say, I'm going to launch my business and conquer the whole market in a year. And investors just switched off when they heard that. So market sizing is really, really key. And these things aren't just key for funding, if you want me to be honest with you. They're key in terms of you growing your business and making it scalable and having a real clear plan. So one of the things that a lot of investors and a lot of grants and funding bodies are going to look at is TAM, SAM, and SOM. Some of you may have done this before. Again, this is something you can go away and get loads of more information on. But what you want to do is, first of all, look at TAM. TAM is total addressable market. So this is the total number of potential customers times average annual revenue per customer. This is going to give the investor an idea of your total addressable market. And giving it to you as an entrepreneur is going to really make you look at your business differently, because you're going to be able to see how much your business could potentially grow, which as well is a great thing. So I think it takes away some limited beliefs. The next thing you want to look at is SAM. SAM is serviceable available market. So which market is available to you that you could service? You've got the total addressable market, and maybe there's places in that market that I call bloody waters. That means it's a really busy marketplace and it's full of the big boys. Do you want to go into those areas? So by finding SAM, you're now finding the areas that are serviceable and available. So this is total number of potential customers times percentage of potential customers that can be realistically served by you. And remember that word realistically. One of the things you're going to hear me talk about a lot is SMART objectives. We've all heard of SMART objectives, but sometimes we don't use them as much as we should. And they're really, really important, because you always want to be making sure you're being Pacific. If you're not Pacific, you'll end up going away into shiny object syndrome, just to let you know, and get distracted by loads of different things. So it's really important that with SMART, you're Pacific, you can measure everything you do. We're in the digital world. If you said to me, what's the biggest things about digitalization? It's the fact that you can track everything you do. We're in a day and age that you really shouldn't have a marketing campaign or a marketing plan or any form of a user journey that is not being tracked. You don't need to figure out what's going wrong if you set everything up that's tracked. So really key that, you're measuring everything you do. It's key that you can feel that it's attainable. So sometimes when we're thinking of TAM, the total addressable market size around here, Sam, this seems huge. This takes away some limited beliefs and think, oh my gosh, is this what's available to me, little old me? And then when you take Sam, which is the servable available market, it becomes smaller. But now you can see a massive marketplace that maybe you couldn't see before, but it's smaller, so it's more attainable. So being more attainable means that, okay, I got this, I can do this. It needs to be realistic. If you're realistic and you can manifest, we all know what happens on the screen of your mind is going to take place, but you've got to believe it. So it's got to be realistic. It's got to be something. It's a bit like when you prepare and you go for a job interview and there's something within you that just kind of knows, okay, I got this. It's that same type of feeling. And the T in SMART is also, can it be done in the timeline? Oh, this is my worst one. I'm always talking to my husband about my ideas. He's like, you sure you're going to be able to pull that off in that time? And I'm trying to get more realistic with timing. So SMART is a good way just to keep in check. But getting back to TAM, SAM, and SOM. So lastly, we got SOM. SOM is the service obtainable market. See why I spoke about SMART? Because the service available market is the market size that is serviceable by you. But could you, as a solopreneur or really small business, service that whole market? So now you need to look at, okay, what's obtainable? And this is simply the total number of customers times the percentage of potential customers that can be realistically served by your business. You can't create time. Times the percentage of market that your business can realistically capture, times average annual revenue per customer. So TAM, SAM, and SOM, this is a framework and a model that anybody that is in grants, their funding, VCs, unicorns, this is what they're familiar with. This is one of the things that they're going to be looking at to see if you've got and so they can see the scalability in your business, because no one wants to give away money if there's no scalability. And obviously grants are a little bit different. Remember, grants are money that you don't pay back. So now with grants, they've probably got their own TAM, SAM, and SOM. And that SOM, the last one, serviceable obtainable market, they're looking for people to give money away where you're servicing a market and an audience that really they've come up with the framework. So also as we go along in the weeks, Dell's also going to cover, the different types of funding as well. Some you don't have to give back, some you do, some take shares in your company. So these sessions also allow you to think, well, do I really want funding? And if I do, what type of funding am I looking for? So now what I want to do in terms of research is I want you to really think about the top-down approach. The top-down approach to market sizing starts with the macro level data or industry level statistics, and then it narrows it down to estimate the market size for a specific product or service. So you always want to start with exactly what we just looked at. You always want to start with TAM, the total addressable marketplace. You always want to start from the top and then work your way down. And in terms of this day and age in making your money grow, that's another thing that investors and grants are always frightened of. Is this money enough for you when they hear some people's business plans or modeling? So by niching, it means that you're able to reach your target very directly because you drill down into a niche. And it means that you can demonstrate to a funder, regardless of whether, you're going to pay it back or it's grant that's given to you. You can explain to a funder, okay, this is what we need. This is the estimate market size for our product and service. And you can really drill down. And it's going to be easier for you to find your audience. The bottom up approach involves gathering detailed micro level data about individual customers, transactions, or market segments, and then aggregating this data to estimate the market size. Some of you might be in niches where, something like a Christian magazine, you might be in a niche that's smaller. Does that make sense? Than being a broadsheet or a mainstream magazine. So you might take the bottom up approach in that situation because you're actually trying to figure out what is the estimate size. Some of you might be familiar with a tool called Google Trends. I use it a lot. Google Trends is excellent. So Google Trends is a tool that you can use where you type keywords in and you can see if they've got high search volumes. So you can search different countries, you can search whether it's just a web search you're looking at, a YouTube search, an image search. Does that make sense? You can do the type of search, you can do location, you can do a period of time. And quite often, when I'm using Google Trends to find out what keywords people will be using for really niche businesses, 9 times out of 10, it will spit out to me, we haven't got enough data for us to give you that information. So, in some instances, you have to take a bottom up approach because you don't actually know the true size of your market. And this is something that you want to know before stepping into a room or explaining yourself to a funder. Okay, which is the best methodology for you? Is the bottom up approach? Is it the top down approach? And just think about that, because again, that is something that funders are expecting you to know, if that makes any sense. And there's no wrong or right answer. Sorry, still got people creeping in. So, Analog's market estimate. Analog's market estimation involves comparing the market size of a similar product or service in a different market or geographical region, and using that as a reference to estimate the market size for your product or service. So for a lot of bigger organizations, what they might do if they can't really ascertain their market size or entry point because there's not enough data, they will look at a similar product or service in a different market, even a different geographical region, and use that as a benchmark to estimate the market size. There's so much that you can do, intel you can get from competitors, especially if your competitor is someone established. You would be absolutely amazed, like seriously, the type of data that you can find out about your customer that will help you benchmark your own business and make some decisions. And in the research, you do want to understand, what is my market? Where is my market? Quite often, these are things that businesses will think once they're up and launching. Funders, grant applications, VCs, unicorn, you know, seed capitalists, whatever route you're going down, they're going to want to understand how big is your marketplace, because instantly what's that telling them is, okay, how big is this thing? How far can this really go? Even if you're in niche markets. So sometimes it can be a bit overwhelming of how do I approach market sizing for a business or my business idea or my actual business. So each approach is going to have its advantage and limitation, and the choice of which approach you use really is going to depend. So think about availability of data. You could be in such a niche. I'm going to give you an example. My audience is Black women. When I go to do digital advertising, the whole idea of social media marketing is that you can target via interest. But when I go to run YouTube ads or Facebook ads where you can target via interest, the interests of my target audience have never got a big data pool according to the digital platforms. So I've also had to figure out what is the size of my market by myself, because the data isn't fully available to me. I always say that algorithms are racist, but that's a whole nother workshop. But availability of data. You want to, make sure when you're looking at market sizing, you're being very specific about the objects. What do I mean by that? Like, you're being very specific about what it is that you do and upsell. Like, what is your objective? Like literally, but specifically, is your objective to raise 10,000? Is your objective to raise 10,000 units of something you just designed in the first year? Is your objective to make sure you get 5, 10 clients a month? This is really important because you need to be doing research wrapped around what your objective is. And accuracy. I mean, the funny thing is about data is that you'll always find data that could contradict something else that's what's being said. So make sure the data you're using is accurate. Okay, if you're going to be doing research, you've got digital tools like SEMrush, SEMrush, SimilarWeb, Ahrefs, where you can get so much more, so much market intelligence. If you're going to be your own customers, that's the best place to go for research. If you've got customers, ask them. But if you've got customers that, complain a lot, don't really like what you do, and you've got the wrong type of customers, would that be accurate to ask those people? Okay, so, and you may need to use a combination of these approaches for your business. So just think about which approach or approaches would you take or would really help you to really be able to delve deeper into understanding who your audience is. because that's what research is. Research is literally unturning every stone there is about your overall target audience and the customer segments to really understand how to build your business out. Without the research, you're building it just on your own assumptions and ideologies, which is just a sure way of disaster. And how we're very much taught about market research, if it's not for pitching for funds, is like I said, it's very thought of this academic topic and subject that let me just get this done because I need to get it done for my business planning. No, you need to get it done so you can make informed decisions as you move forward. So when it comes to looking at data, I think data is one of those things that's incredibly overwhelming. Even over the years, the minute I see a spreadsheet, my head just starts to hurt. If you really want me to be honest with you, I'm like, oh crap, here we go. So I love a dashboard. Any of you that might use GA4, some of you might work for organizations that use Tableau. There's a lot of software out there. Some of you might sell on social media. And you've got a whole load of social media listening tools that will help you give data about your social media. But presenting market research data visually really enables complex information to be presented in a more simple, easy, and understandable format. And your investors, your grant application, your funders, they're going to love that. Okay, it makes it more accessible to funders, investors, and shareholders and stakeholders if they've got something that breaks down the data and they can see it in a snapshot. They can see, oh boy, you're onto something, and this business is scalable, and they can see it at a snapshot. Data visualization is absolutely key. And another thing that any grant application, if they're not asking for the money back, one of the things that they're going to love is hearing from you, the business owner, that you've got the ability to show and present data, especially if you're trading, you've got customers. The fact that you can say, this is our user journey, this is what we found out from using GA4, these are the bottlenecks, these are the holes in our funnel, this is what the holes in our funnel, this is what we're really trying to achieve. If they can see that and they can see you've got data and you've been tracking what they do, bingo, now they're thinking this is a serious type of entrepreneur. This is the type of entrepreneur that I want to back and put my money into, or this is the type of entrepreneur that should get the grant and funding because they understand who their customers is. They've tested, they've got the data to prove it, and going by what they've done up to date and how they're going to move forward, I can see how this is an investable business. Make sense? So data visualization is really, really important. So you want to make sure with data you keep it simple, clear, and uncuttered. It gets straight to the point. Be consistent by using consistent colors, labels, and scales. It doesn't go unnoticed, by the way, if you're presenting, and you've got decks where the branding is all there. Does that make any sense? You've got a dashboard. It's clear that you're someone that knows what they're talking about. Storytelling. Use storytelling by developing narratives about the data to convey insights effectively. I always say to people, numbers tell a story. Okay, data tells you a story. It's not, but when you see it as raw data, it's like, oh, it can be really scary. So use storytelling to pick out of those spreadsheets, those more complex dashboards. Tell a story. Bring those numbers to light. And just make sure it's accessible to all, including those who have vision impairments. Like another thing you'll find, especially when you're doing government funding, the fact that all your content assets around what you offer is being made friendly for, those who've got vision impairments, those who maybe have got hearing impairments. It's going to make a big difference, especially on local authority level where the funding's coming directly from the government. So types of data visualization. You've got things like Python, Power BI, but these are very techie coding. These are things that if anything, you've heard of a software called Tableau that would use. But you've got Microsoft Excel. To this day, I still use loads of Microsoft Excel. I create loads of trackers. There's so much you can do in Excel. But guys, we've got other things. Look at Canva. Like I teach in my community all about the customer journey and mapping it out. We use Canva. I teach students, master students at York University at London campus. I get them to produce all their work for me in Canva, PowerPoint, Excel, Adobe, Figma. These are all softwares that you've heard of, and they are all data visualization. It's like sometimes when we hear a data, we just think, oh gosh, that's not for me. Oh, I can't be dealing with that. Way too complex. It's not as complex as you think it is. And, you can still get someone to set it up. But the power of data in terms of market research is absolutely just phenomenal in terms of you being able to grow and being able to take your business to the next level. You need to have data, and just having loads of lines of raw data is not really getting you ahead. And also having that data in an infographic style that's really easy to digest and you can see visually what's going on. That's what an investor, that's what a funder, that's what grants offerings, that's what they want to see. So let's just put data into context. So when communicating your market research, as well as represented data visually, it's important and extremely impactful to contextualize the results. And I think, my dad always used to say common's not common. There's an element of common sense that goes there with data contextualization. If you are looking at your GA4 Google Analytics and you can see you've got a really high bounce rate, so you manage to get everybody to click through your ads, your social media posts, they all click through and then they all go to a website. But then once they're on your website, they start to drop off. So now you have to think, what's going on here while they're all dropping off? So you've got to contextualize the data. So the data's telling you they're on the site for a few seconds and they go. But the data will tell you it's above the fold and below the fold. Maybe out of all of this, they're not going below the fold. They're not going below the fold of the page. That means they're only ever looking at the top of your page and never below from what they can actually see. So what could be the reason for this? So this is where you've got to start contextualizing. Is it because they just don't want to scroll? Because they don't like what they see or what you've wrote? But you would have put some thought and effort into it. Does that make any sense? You've got to put it into context. You've got to think about the why behind it. So data really needs to be looked at contextually, because if you don't look at it in context, you can end up barking up the wrong tree, because data's got this funny way of presenting itself in many different stories. It's not as straightforward to always put context on data, because there could be many reasons for things. But if you know your business, you know your customer behavior, you know when something is off, so to speak. Oh, sorry, I just realized someone was waiting to get in. So next you want to combining both visualization and contextualization, meaning you've got the visuals, you're putting it into concept, relating it to your business model, culture, ethos, yada, yada, yada. This is really going to allow you to communicate a compelling narrative around your business. Make sense? So this is class. This is where when you combined everything, the magic really, really starts to work. So it's about having the visualization. It's about actually contextualization and just really think about the impact and contextualize the results. Like put it into context with the business, the model you're offering, the audience. And when you combine the two, that's when you start to see some magic, in my opinion. So usually we discuss this in groups, but I'm not going to be putting you into breakout groups. But what I do want to do is I want to move on before we end today's session into target audience. It's really important, guys, that you understand the market research, but you also understand who your audience is. And then the week after that, we're going to be looking at the value proposition. To create a value proposition for your audience, you need to understand and know who your audience is. So that's why it's so important to really understand who is your target audience and who are the segments within that target audience. So we're going to go on, but at this point, can I ask, does anybody have any questions? Oh, there we go. So we are now going. Either put it in the chat or simply come off of mute. There we
Natalia,
go.
I have a question.
Yeah, sure, Josephine.
It might be a silly question, but for Canva, if you want to present the data visualization, do you have to, like, is there a way for you to put the percentages in? Like, how does it work?
Yeah, so good question, actually. So if you're tracking your whole user journey or you've set data up, GA4, Google Analytics, now the new GA4 is a free tool that you can use, for example. And what you want to do is track everything in your funnel. But GA4 comes with something called Google Tags Manager. So Google Tags Manager allows you to track every URL that exists. And if you want, you can add UTMs onto them. What that means is that after the www.com / and the location, you'd have another / and you can put whatever slug you want there. So if you're doing SEO, you might give some of your landing pages, does that make sense, its own specific URL. That way you can track all the people that are from X, like your organic SEO, are using that link so you can track it. So within Google, you've also got something called the Google Looker Studio. I don't know if you've ever seen it. The Google Looker Studio allows you to put a dashboard together that's tracking everything that your business does. And it's a really slick dashboard, but this dashboard is specific to what you want to show. So most people will use that as a customer journey and look at the awareness, engagement, subscription, where are you converting, the ascension ladder, the user journey that we all use in marketing, or some people call it a marketing funnel. So now you can select everything that you want to show, and the Looker Studio will show it just all on the dashboard. Okay, so just to give you an example, I don't think our one, we're working on it at the moment. Don't judge me. No, I haven't got it in my many, many links, but I will show you within this series, Josephine, what a Looker dashboard looks like.
Okay, thank you.
I thought I changed it. I will show you. But yeah, so you can create dashboards. You've got softwares like the SEMrush and Similar Web that I go there, analytical tools as well, by the way. And don't forget any software you're using. So if you use a software for email marketing, CRMs, if you're using a software for social media to schedule, you're getting data from all of this. If you're not reviewing the data, that is research. There's so much that you don't understand, if you want me to be honest with you, that you already have got at your fingertips that you don't need to go out and find out. Does that make any sense? You'd be so shocked. If you're running social media, you should have a really good idea, if you want me to be honest with you, which posts do better than the other, which topics do people like, what time is the best time to post, and all your posts that get high engagement and high comments, would you want to do more posts like that? Would you not want to see, well, who's the types of people that like this post? Because the types of people that like this post, wouldn't you want to find more people like that? Okay, you've already got data sitting around your business without probably even realizing it, if you really want me to be honest with you. So, just be super aware of how important research is. And in terms of funders, in terms of grant application, VCs, unicorn, no matter what route you're going down, research is the one thing that's going to help them ascertain how solid your business is and the scalability and growth of it, and whether they can see this has got life in it. This is a good business model, a great entrepreneur. I can see where they are, how they're going to get there. I can clearly see how they've identified the market size. If you can do that in the first part of an application or pitch, you're halfway there. But to be able to really from the research, now you really want to understand who is my target audience. And that's what I want to look at for the last 5 minutes. And then we're going to continue with this next week. But understanding who your target audience is really, really key, guys. I can't even express to you how important it is. If you don't understand your audience, you are in danger of selling to the wrong people. Make sense? So one of the most common mistakes in businesses, when they say, oh, how 1 in 3 businesses fail, all of that. One of the most common problems that a business has got actually is not understanding who their audience is, meaning you've got this product or service that you're selling. That's what's called the value proposition. And we're going to look at the value proposition next week. In the academic institutional world, they would tell you to set your value proposition first. I don't actually believe that. We should be looking at our audience first, because by looking at our audience means it's easier to establish and package your business up and get the messaging right and have a correct value proposition, because it's geared towards the audience. Doing your value proposition first and you having an idea of who your audience is and you haven't got the full research to back it up, you're now in dangerous territory. And I'm just telling you how funders think. You're now in dangerous territory of not really understanding who your audience is and what you're offering, and there's a mismatch. And this has happened to me before, just so you know. I'm generally talking from experience here, meaning that I've got a product or a service that was, when I very first started coaching, my product was for high end, high ticket. Okay. but my audience was low end and didn't have the affordability. Do you see what I mean? So now I'm offering a service that doesn't match the audience. And a lot of that's got to do with the messaging and the marketing. So these are things that funders are looking at for. They want to know and understand that, just like you understand your market size and you've done the research and we can establish that there is growth and there's scalability, they want to know more about the audience. Is this an audience? You've seen it so many times on Dragon's Den. And even The Apprentice, is this audience going to want to keep buying this product, or will they buy it once and they won't want it? Will your big boys competition see what you're doing, then just produce something better and knock you out of the market? You have to be able to understand what you found out from the research and the market size. You need to be able to relate that into understanding who your target audience is. It's so important. And within your target audience, like I said, you've got different segments. So this is what we're going to be jumping into next week, and we're really going to be but this is from last week, but this will go into next week. But we've looked at so far in market research, quantitative and qualitative data. If you missed last week's session, the recording is inside the community. Princess has put a link in the chat that will take you to the community, or simply go onto our website. Go to the login box, either put your login details in. If you forgot your password, just reset and get a new one. If you haven't logged in or haven't got an account, just quickly set one up there, and then it gives you access into our community. That community's got loads in there. You've got the 3-day digital boot camp that I spoke about at the beginning. There's a podcast in there. There's books that we give away. There's discussion, masterclasses, and you'll also get the replay for the funding sessions. So what we've looked at already is quantitative and qualitative data, market sizing. We looked at TAM, SAM, and SOM. Competitor analysis. If you haven't got the information, go to look to see what your competitor is doing, or go into your own marketplace. But understanding your market and speaking to the right people who are your customers to find out, to get the right feedback to move forward, really important. Data visualization and conceptualization. Go to the data. What is the data saying? You should be tracking. If you're not tracking, it's something that you need to be doing. Nothing is going to please a funder or a VC or anyone that's going to give you money for your business more than the fact that you've got data to back up what you're saying and you understand the data. And localized marketing. Market research is essential to provide accurate and usable business insights. So you need to make sure, please, that you've got an idea of what's going to go into your marketing and what your market size is. It might be that if you feel your market's too big, you might want to you might want to I can't get the words out today. Localize it. See there, I got it. So that's what we're going to be looking for from next week. So next week is all about target audience. We're going to kick off 6 o'clock prompt. So I know everybody's got loads of commitments. The recording is in the community, like I said. And before we end today's session, I really do want to really, really, really plug to you, not just because it's mine that I'm plugging it, but I just want to plug to you our membership. It's been closed for some time now because we've had a lot of cohorts go through. And we've also been looking at how we can help support Black women more in really understanding how to sell online and learn the strategies that bigger organizations are using that we don't get taught at university. All those private courses that come with certifications, it's almost like a history of the subject, and it's not actually practical, tangible knowledge you can use because those courses and information was never built by an entrepreneur. So, we've been recrafting our premium membership for a while. So, Princess, if you could just put a link to premium access, please do make sure you check out. Within the next month after this masterclass series, we're going to be rolling out our next cohort. So Empower Her is a program that's really going to help you build a strategy for your business and build that user journey and be able to pitch your business to the level that you need to really be able to get funding. But more importantly, it's not about funding this program. If you want to do this for funding, don't do it. This program is about actually putting together a journey and crafting a detailed strategy where you've mapped out visually and strategically exactly what the business is going to do. You've thought about every possible customer touch point. You've analyzed what channels you're going to use, what your messaging is, what your brand is. This is about the detail. This isn't about, you don't get big steps to get to where you want. It's loads of little steps that you take. So you work with me to build those little steps up. Then we figure out how we're going to track everything you've done. Because if you're tracking everything you've done, when it's not quite going right, right, guess what you get to do? You get to go and look at the data and figure out, okay, what do I need to change or tweak? Then in the last month, it's a 90-day program, but it's a year's membership, by the way. In the last month, what we now do is figure out what are the bottle holes. Let's optimize this. What are the things that we're going to come across and really being able to change everything from what we've learned from the data. We now want to implement the changes to make it better so you can really start to monetize and grow. So it's a really intensive 3-month program. The modules are all pre-recorded, but you have to do them weekly. But then you also get a Q&A call with me weekly to go through any questions that you've got or anything you don't understand or anything you want to put out there. So it's an intense 12-week program, but what you're left with at the end of it is a dead cert plan. It's like when you've done the dream CV, or like I said, you've gone for that job, you've really smashed it, and there's something within you that just knows that you've got it. I've never done this with anybody that doesn't feel at the end of it like, you know what, I've got this. I can see how my business is going to grow because you've taken the time out to really craft every single detail and not follow my template or someone saying, this is how I did it. You did it too. You need to find out your own way to do it because every business model is completely different. No business model is the same. And to be innovative and think outside the box, you can't be repetitive or repeat or imitate what other people do as much as it is drummed down our necks. There's just so much you're going to learn in there. Project flows, how to manage yourself, how to copyright, really take marketing to the next level so you can ramp your business up to get more sales. So we don't just open it up and let you in. And you go on a wait list. Please, ladies, make sure you go on the wait list because once you're on the wait list, you actually have to book a call with me. Again, what we don't want to do is let people into the community to take that program and membership that it's not right for. It needs to be right for you because then you're going to be more successful. So read about premium access. If it's something that you think can help, make sure you put your name on the wait list. You'll be hearing from us soon. You'll have a one-to-one call with me. If it's right for you, that's when we let the next cohort through. Because even though they're online classes, you can do them at your own pace, but you get a Q&A with me every week. And for the month of that membership, actually, you get a Q&A every week, even after the 12 weeks of the program, while you're still working on your business. So it's a founding members price on there. So you don't want to lose out on that because it really is a no-brainer. We just want to show that the proof is in the pudding. And also in the new year, we've got a whole load of new coaches that will be coming into our community that will be running lunch and learns. We've got a massive summit in January that we're going to be launching, and we're inviting more coaches and consultants into our community to be able to coach, mentor, and really help women of color, really help Black women that've got that grit, tenacity, and want the freedom and flexibility. And they've got an online business and they find their customers online, and they work online as well. So check it out. But anyway, today's session is not about that. I hope you found it useful. Don't forget the recording is inside the community. And before we wrap up and I read through the chat, are there any questions? If Josephine's still here, thanks for the heads up. Right, well, everyone's asking for the recording. The recording is inside the community. Okay, cool. Actually, no, there's some more new messages. Right, here we go. So I think from here I haven't read. So hi Francis, a consultant into financial advisory and management from Lagos. Woo-hoo! Nigeria in the house. Lovely to have you here. Patricia was here. I had 7 p.m. in my diary. I'm sorry, Patricia. The timings did go back and forth a bit, so it might be an overlap there. So no problem. But Patricia, if you are still online, there is a recording, and next week is 6 o'clock. Princess has put a link to the community. We've got Adelaine. Greetings from Nambia. Any possibility of receiving the recording? I joined a bit late. Yep, that's been in the chat as well. And welcome, Adelaine from Kenya. I love having international presence. Good day. I'm Kajet from Nigeria. Woohoo! I make children wears. Please, how do I get a recording? Yep, if you go to the community. Perfect. I can see everything else about the community. Well, guys, it was an absolute pleasure to have you here. It's 7 o'clock. I don't want to keep you over. It's an hour every week. We're 2 weeks in. We've got 2 more weeks of this, and then we've got the big consultation with Dell. Okay, that's on the 31st of October at midday. It's at lunchtime, and this is where you really get to talk about the funding elements, the ins and outs. What do they expect? What do they want to see? And Dell is going to be talking about the funding pots that they support and what it is that they're looking for and the funders are looking for. So not only will you find out about these pots of monies and whether you can qualify, you're also going to get some insight information to how to go about being best be successful for these. Okay. And then after that, we're going to be running these sessions again. It's not just about the funding guides, it's about having your business pitch ready. So whether you're in networking, whether you're looking for a VC, whether you're doing copyright and you've got content going out, the more you understand about your business and being able to pitch it is just the more you craft your art of being able to write and put together great content that connects with people because you understand how to pitch your business and not just see it and talk about it from the business owner's point of view, which always tends to be a lot more complex. The end user doesn't know what you use. So I hope you found today useful. Let me know in the chat. Please make sure you stay connected with us in the community, whatever social media channel that you hang out on. Make sure you're connecting with us. There's so much that we're going to be doing for the rest of this year and next year. Just stay close to us. There's a lot of stuff coming. Always a pleasure. I don't think I've got any questions, and I shall see you next week. I think I've got one more. No problem, Paulette. Thank you, and I'll see you next week, my lovely. Oh, good. Choma said definitely informative. I love getting feedback, whether it's great feedback or bad feedback. It just makes me better. So I do like getting feedback. So thanks for that, Choma. Right, Anisha, thank you. We'll be on next week. Thank you. Oh, Diane. Diane's going to kill me. Do you know what, Diane? I'm bunged up. I've not been well. I was meant to give you a call. I'm so sorry, my darling. I will do it tomorrow morning. 6 p.m. 6 p.m. We do because I run a consultative session from 6 till 9 afterwards. So to be fair, there's a couple of people that said 7 p.m. When we first started, we did go at 7 p.m. and we just got so much feedback of a lot of people preferring it at 6 that have got younger kids and need to be around at 7. But there is a recording, ladies, and as we go move forward, I've often wondered actually, by the way, while there's 14 of you on this call, do you prefer evenings for the next series run, or do you prefer like a lunchtime, like midday to 1 o'clock? Like, what's everyone's preferred time just before you go? Would love to hear. Evenings, yeah. That was a general consensus, right? Evenings. No problem, Adlena. One question. What is the community? Sorry, Adlena. Adlane, I don't know why I put an A on the end. The community is a free community that Women in Digital Business has created that's just got loads of resources in there. So there's a 3-day boot camp in there that's will really teach you about the value proposition, knowing who your audience is, and explain how to build a funnel and user journey. There's a podcast in there. Our podcast is on YouTube as well. There's books that we give away weekly. There's discussions that we have in there. It's a place to connect with other women. It's just a place to really hang out and go to really be able to get resources that are free resources that are actually useful and have got really good value to them that's going to help you in your business, and not just free because we want you to buy something else from us. That's not what Women in Digital Business is about. We're growing and we're creating a community that wants to serve Black women, and we're being very unapologetic about it. No problem. There, Princess has put a link in the chat. Princess, if you could just put it in one more time, it will tell you about the community, the landing page, and just sign up through there. You can even go into our website, www.womenindigitalbusiness.com, and if you go to login, you can either log in there or create an account. But Princess has put a link into the chat that takes you explaining what the community is about, and you can also join from there as well. Oh, thank you, Adelaine. That's nice to know. Like, thank you. I don't think here I'm really bonged up. I've been struggling this week, so that's actually really, really nice to hear. Honestly, thank you. So look forward to seeing you in the community. Princess, if you could just put the premium access link in there. Actually, I can do it as well. Please, please, please do check out and go onto our wait list. Oops, for the premium membership. Yep, Princess is way ahead of me. So if you want to find out more about the premium membership, I'm just putting a link in the chat that will take you through to the page that explains to you exactly what's on there. What Princess has given you is the wait list, is to go on the wait list to it. So the link that I've just put in gives you information of exactly what the program and membership is about. And the link before that, the wait list, is to be added to the wait list. So when we open the gates, so when we open up, like I said, anybody on the wait list is going to have a call with me, because I don't feel like if you're offering anything that is paid, and by the way, it's a founding members price as well. So it really is a complete and utter no-brainer for the value of information you're getting. The value of information is about 10 times more than what we're actually charging. I'm not exaggerating. And I would say I'm being modest by saying 10 times, probably more. But yeah, I got to make sure that it's right for people, because I don't like bringing people into somewhere and just selling if it's not right for them. Adelaide has said, I'm having tourism company and marketing is definitely a problem, so I know I'll benefit from this. Brilliant. That 3-day boot camp in the community, Adelaide, you're going to find really useful. And please do let us have feedback on that. Right, ladies, it's 7 minutes past 7. Please do enjoy your evenings. It's 6 p.m. I know there's been some confusion about time. Interestingly enough, a few people said lunchtime, but most people did say in the evening. But I think in the new year 2025, we might start doing a mixture of both. You're definitely going to be having lunch and learn masterclasses in the new year with the new coaches that are going to be coming into our community. And if you are interested in becoming a coach in our community, please do just go on the website. There's a tab called Become a Coach. Click on it and find out. So if you're interested in coaching or mentoring inside our community, do let us know. Anisha, it's 2 p.m. here in Toronto. Oh, you're from Canada. Hey, girl. Sorry, love my Canadians. Love my Americans as well. Obviously, I'm from the Atlantic slave trade, so we're planted all around the world, so we tend to have family in all these places. So if you're interested in become a coach, just check out our website. Right, ladies, I'm going into being 10 minutes over. Most of you have dropped out. Have a really, really blessed evening. Enjoy your weekend and see you next week, Thursday.